Hello everyone, and today we're going to talk about Back for Blood. Now, Back for Blood launched about a week ago, I think it was. It was on, the 12th of October, in the post-apocalyptic era of 2021. Again, you can get fuel now in the UK, I should point out. Still going to be food shortages, so I may still have to sell the 3080 Ti for food. It's not quite as bad as people make out to be, but you never know. So yeah, so we're still living in a post-apocalyptic hellhole, in case you're wondering. But Back for Blood launched, which has actually got a nicer outlook on life. I wish we had a zombie apocalypse. Anyway, but yeah, Back for Blood, a lot of people saying it's just Left 4 Dead, a modern version of Left 4 Dead. It's not strictly true, as it is a different twist on the Left 4 Dead formula. It certainly has, all the Left 4 Dead tropes. Again, you've got a group of survivors. You have to survive the zombies, the special infected, you have to get to the safe house, and again, there's things like hazards to watch out for in the world. And you've got the AI director, of course, who is always watching over you, and again, each run is dynamic, as again the AI director can choose to send different enemies and different hazards your way. So that hasn't really changed. But I mean, I would say if you go into it with the mentality of it's just Left 4 Dead, you're probably going to fail. And that's what happened a lot at launch. A lot of groups failed because people just thought it was Left 4 Dead. There is a big emphasis on the sort of RPG type mechanics in the game. You've got the decks that you have to build. Also, each character in the game is its own class. So in a way, it's similar to Vermintide. If you remember the two Vermintide games, they were a different take on the formula. They were set in the Warhammer fantasy universe. They were set, and you had different classes, and again, it was rats, not zombies you were fighting, but they still had, the sort of similar premise to Left 4 Dead. And I really liked the Vermintide games. So they had loot, and they had classes that you could pick, different characters with different classes. So in a sense, Back 4 Blood is more similar to Vermintide than it is Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead was a bit more casual, as you could say. Because each character you picked, you could just pick any weapon. You have to kind of build your deck around the characters. You can have, different save decks. You use different cards, supply cards. Is it supply cards, I guess? Use supply resources to buy different cards. And again, some cards will boost your accuracy. Some will boost your stamina, which is needed for melee damage. Again, Left 4 Dead didn't have a stamina system in it. And you've got things like, you've got modifiers as well for abilities. Like, you can have a positive and negative effects. Like, you can have increased shotgun damage, but then you lose the ability to aim down the sights with a shotgun. So there's different things like that you can get, different perks, again, and you can unlock the perks with the supply points that you get from completing each mission. Each mission also, they have corruption cards as well, which have different effects on each run. For example, you might get more instances of birds in the game. Now, if you scare the birds, it alerts the horde, and it again, you'll just get more zombies after you. If you alert the birds, why can't your teammates? People always run over birds. Like, they seem to attract teammates, no matter how much you highlight them on the map. And again, they always seem to run over them or want to shoot them or something like that to alert them. So you'll get things like that. You'll get little challenges in each run, which does serve to make each run different from the previous run. Left 4 Dead kind of just did it with the enemy placement, whereas at least Back 4 Blood does this with not only enemy placement and the type of enemies that you'll fight, you also get boss enemies that you'll fight as well, that have to be taken down. Again, these can spawn randomly, although certain times, like I think in the second mission of Act 1, you always fight a boss there, but then they kind of spawn dynamically in there, and again, it is kind of similar. The structure is similar to again Left 4 Dead, but I like the little gameplay tweaks. You can have different builds, of course. I went for like an all healing build when I unlocked Doc, and you can again do that. And bear in mind, the different characters come with their own cards. So some will give you extra stamina, like Holly, for example. I tend to play Holly mostly with a kind of melee build, which focuses on unlimited stamina, obviously, so I can hit things, and you get perks like, killing an enemy with a melee weapon heals you for 2 health. I think that's a pretty decent perk as well to have because, again, you're going to be at close combat with melee, so you can use it for heals as well. Just run up and hit things to get a little bit of healing, get a little bit of your health back. But yeah, then you can use the different characters, use their strengths and weaknesses. You see a lot of people when you're playing the game just pick a character that looks cool and then give them totally the wrong weapons. Like the amount of people I've seen playing Holly, again, she gives you extra stamina and stamina boosts, and they just use guns with Holly. You can kind of build Holly as a hybrid shotgun melee. You can go all in as melee, or but I don't think you should build her as a sort of like pure gunner kind of thing, because there are other characters there, like Hoffman, for example, which gives you more ammo perks. You could pick someone like that. So that's the thing you have to be wary of when you're playing Back for Blood, is try and match your deck. You can only have 15 slots for each deck, so try and match your deck to the character. There's Evangelo, I think his name is, as well. He's another melee character that you can play as well. So yeah, I like this sort of melee, and you can go melee gun hybrid kind of thing, which is quite a good idea. I tend to focus again with Holly. It's about stamina and stamina regeneration and movement speed as well, because you're going to have to close the gap. And you also get a thing where you can charge up like a melee attack as well and charge at the enemies with your baseball bat. Holly calls hers Dottie and not Lucille. So you just run about pretending you're Negan, essentially, with a barbed wire. What was it? Barbed wire. Is that a barbed wire or a spiked baseball? I think it's a barbed wire baseball bat with nails in it. So she's went all out there. You can clearly see there that she's gone all out for that. But yeah, I mean, again, the game runs really well as well. The game runs fine. It does feature both DLSS and FSR, so that should be good. I mean, good if you've got again a sort of 20 or a 30 series NVIDIA card. On the 3080 Ti, it would run around, kind of hovered around 180 to 200 FPS mark with DLSS in quality mode. I did lock the frame rate to 144 just because the GPU was getting too hot. And I've only got a 144 Hz monitor, so yeah, I just decided to go with that. And it runs fine. There are moments when it can dip. It can dip down to the 90s sometimes, but other than that, when there's a lot of Ridden, it is. I'm just calling them zombies, but Ridden is the in-game name for the zombies in the game. And you've got like the mutations, which are like the special infected in Left 4 Dead. There isn't like a versus campaign mode like there is in Left 4 Dead, but there is like the swarm mode as well, which I've never tried, to be honest with you. I've never made it to Act 2 despite getting the achievement for getting through Act 1. Don't know how you unlock Act 2. It says complete Act 1, all the areas, but I've completed them all and I still can't do Act 2. There was also an issue at launch where it put you into the higher difficulty. I should point out that if you're playing with pugs, like if you're playing with random strangers, I would suggest going with just recruit difficulty, because if you're gonna play it on the normal and the hard mode, you need 4 players, preferably with voice communication, and preferably, that are, communicating, and you're gonna have to optimize your deck. Definitely make sure you optimize it. So just play on recruit if you just want to play with randoms. The only other downside to it as well is the solo mode doesn't get you any progress. I think that's a shame that you can't unlock the cards, and you can't unlock weapon skins or anything like that in the solo mode, nor can you even get achievements. I mean, I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and you could play the zombie mode solo, and you could unlock everything that you could unlock while you're playing it in multiplayer, or even playing the competitive multiplayer in that game. I found it was the best way to level up weapons. Like if you had like a double weapon XP thing, a perk that you could do, or they were running a double XP event, you could go into the zombie mode in Black Ops Cold War, and you could just play solo. And I found that was the best way to just level up a gun. I don't know, I just found that way. You could unlock everything. You've unlocked character progression XP, You unlock the prestige ranks, you unlock the season pass, and you unlock the weapon ranks as well. They also had the separate camos as well. So I think that's a bit of a shame for solo players there, that they're not giving you, that solo experience if you just want to play solo. The bots are a bit useless though, to be honest with you. The amount of times a bot will sit and stare at you while you're trapped and just stand around you and melee attack. The bots are a bit useless, so that is maybe for the best that you don't want to play it solo. Although if a player leaves, they get replaced with a bot. I would like to see some quality of life changes, though. It would be nice to have the option to pick what character you want to play and then queue as that character. Okay, you might get a longer queue time, but if I want to play as a specific character, you kind of have to just get lucky and pick the character first before that, or you'll just get a match in progress where you'll just get put into the shoes of a random character and you won't get to choose any perk cards, or you won't get to choose your deck until you hit the safe room there. So sometimes that doesn't work either. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's good that it's on Game Pass as well. It is nice to see it on Xbox Game Pass. Also on Game Pass for PC, and that's what I've been playing. I've been playing the Windows Store version. It shows up as you're playing on Xbox for some reason, because it does use Xbox Live if you're using the Windows Store version. So that is a thing. The Xbox One X version, I was playing on the One X. No, the Series X. Jesus, I keep getting confused. So I was playing on my Xbox Series X, and it looks alright. It doesn't look as good as the PC version. I think it has 120 Hz mode, but I don't know. I'd have to hook it up to the PC monitor to test that. It does say 60 plus FPS on the Windows Store. Which is nice, to see. 3080 Ti runs it fine, 1440p. Again, 144 FPS, which is what I've limited it to. I had to go into the NVIDIA control panel because it wouldn't let me do it in Riva Tuner Statistics because it is a UWP app. That is the downside, but I don't think it's worth paying £50 for on Steam, I will say, just to get rid of the UWP app. I'll just put up with UWP as long as the game works, that's fine, and I'm getting it as part of my Game Pass subscription. And again, Progress, it is an Xbox Play Anywhere title, I should point out, so Progress carries over from your Xbox to your PC, which is nice. Sometimes it's nice to just sit on the couch, although I do prefer the PC version, and all the footage that you're looking at in this video is the PC version, because I just couldn't be bothered recording Xbox Series X, I got it right that time, Xbox Series X footage, and then, copying it across to the PC. It's easier just to record footage. You just hit Alt-Z and then you just put it into the editor and that's you. There's no need to hook up an external hard drive and then copy it over. I just find it easier to record from the PC using Shadowplay from NVIDIA. I just use the NVIDIA recorder. I think that works best. You can use OBS, but I prefer Shadowplay. Just Alt-Z and hit record and away you go. But anyway, that is all for this video. So yeah, Back 4 Blood. It is a decent game. I did play it in the beta and I did enjoy it in the beta, and I do enjoy the full release. So that is all for this video, and thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.